Not Nerd Podcast, episode 308, Notnerdians.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello to you, sir. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am doing well. Excited to talk some technology and our first piece of follow-up. We were so right on last week.
Oh, yeah?
Facebook announced that the parent company that was previously called Facebook is going to be called Meta.
Oh, big surprise.
Yes, I think we might have mentioned that, and it was, not that we were the only ones to do that, but I did see some really cringy videos with, Zuckerberg. We've talked about Elon Musk and how he is very awkward on camera. Zuckerberg is a robot. Like, he is, if you wanted to make a robot that looked like a human,
kind of acted like a human.
Yes, but they're really going all in this metaverse where you're just going to put on your Oculus glasses and live in this world. So there was some stuff on that, and they're really investing heavily this year in the metaverse.
Oculus, don't you mean Quest by Meta?
Yes. Yeah, Quest, Meta, family of Facebook apps.
I think they're dropping the Oculus name. I don't know why. Yes. I think maybe because the founders of Oculus and Facebook don't see eye to eye. So they're doing that, and the Facebook app's still going to be called Facebook. All the other stuff, but much like we said last week, like Google when they restructured and made Alphabet the parent company, Facebook has renamed themselves so that they can commit crime,
so they can fool people with their new name. But I did see something that with the Quest that they are working so that you don't have to have a Facebook account tied to your Quest account, which you are probably excited about. But they're still in charge of it, so what does it matter? It's going to be a Meta account.
Well, if you look at my Twitter profile and see my latest tweets, one of them where I had mentioned in a reply to a Ars Technica tweet about them changing the policy on having to create a Facebook app on your Oculus Quest, I said, what's the point? Facebook by any other name would smell as sour, which is a Shakespearean reference for those of you who want to know.
Yes, your theatre background coming through there. Yeah, yes. It's one of those things, and it even going with the Meta thing and this whole metaverse, actually I think probably scares more people of what, it's going to be like Ready Player One, where we're all living in a Facebook world. Whatever,
I think if you distilled everything down to one word regarding Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook as a company or a meta company, the word is creepy is the word, I think.
Yes, I do not disagree with that, though I do use Facebook more than you. Well, on to some more exciting news. I think you might want to talk about some of it, but we both have some new Apple tech in our lives this week.
Yeah.
You took delivery from AI as it shows up on the shipping label?
Yeah, and I just wanted to get something off my chest here, Nate. I just wanted to... I've kind of been living with not really a secret, but something that I just want to come out of the closet on this topic. I love tablets.
I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it.
I am a tablet fan. I like iPads. I like Kindles. I like Kindle Fires. Heck, I'll even use an Android tablet here and again. But I just want to get that off my chest and let people know that, man, if I just had to use one device and nothing else, I think a tablet would be the type of device. So if you were out there contemplating, should I get a laptop? Should I get a computer? Should I get a PC? The answer is no. Just get an iPad or some type of tablet. Yes. They're so good. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, not that Apple released new products or anything.
No, and maybe we'll circle back to that later in our picks of the week. But I think you got a new phone as well.
Oh, yes. And guess what a phone is these days? It is just a small tablet that you put in your pocket and carry with you everywhere. So, yes, I did finally in the mail. I told everybody about this. I got my iPhone 13 Pro Max. And man, if they had any more adjectives on this thing, holy cow. But, it was one of these things where I was using the 12 Pro Max and then the thing came in the mail and then I switched the content and I'm using this and I'm like, well, it kind of looks the same. It kind of feels the same. It's a little heavier.
Yeah.
How's it different? But I will tell you, it does feel faster.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff is like, boom, faster. The screen looks tremendous. It's incredible. Like we were talking last week about them iterating on different products. They just a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and I got a case on it that we'll talk about it in a future date.
Ooh,
but
nice.
But yes, I got the phone and I increased my storage space this time back up to 256, which was a welcomed addition.
Yes.
But it is. I'm happy to report it's working quite well.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I have not received my new MacBook Pro yet. I just got a notification today from from Apple, I guess, that I should be receiving it tomorrow as we record. But I'm not going to hold UPS to that because the other Apple product I got this week ended up being more than a day late from when they said I was going to get it, because I think UPS is having some issues getting everything delivered. But I did get my AirPods Gen 3.
All right. Well, let's hear all about them.
I've realized I had texted you the first morning I was using them and said, I just can't. These are too weird.
Let me guess. You had them in backwards and upside down.
Yes.
No,
that
please
was
continue.
So weird. But no, I realized that with the AirPods Gen 1 and Gen 2, it has been almost 5 years. We are like 2 months short of 5 years that I've been using those. Mm-hmm. And I probably average 4 hours a day that I have them in my ears, that I'm, phone calls, podcasts, whatever, or just walking around because they're so light that I don't even notice it's in my ear.
Yeah.
So after 5 years, you kind of get used to something. So having something a little different. So these ones are different now. The initial issue that I was having is I'm so used to just the double tap to play pause.
Right.
Which is what I use all the time, where these have the force sensor on the stem.
Not to be confused with the Force from Star Wars, but yeah.
Star Wars.
Well, I was going to say Trek, and I'm like, what kind of a nerd am I? Holy cow.
But I am getting used. I've had them like 4 days now or something. I am getting used to the force sensor. The battery life is better on that, even though, my older ones, the battery had degraded, but they told us that battery life is better. But I'm impressed. Listening to podcasts, I don't notice a lot of difference in the sound quality, so I still need to do some testing on that. I haven't tried out the spatial audio, but they do have kind of a version of the Find My on these ones now, where you can use your phone to find them if you lose them, which I don't usually do. And I was a little concerned. I was like, man, $179. I think I got my last ones for $100 or $109 with the non-wireless. But I was looking on Amazon today. The new ones you can get for like $5 off on Amazon.
Yeah.
But the Gen 2s with the wireless charging, those are $159. So it's only $20 more than that. And right now on Amazon, the non-wireless charging, where you have to use the lightning port that I had, those ones are like $120. So these are growing on me. I really like them. They've got the shorter stem on them. I think I heard that they're just a smidge lighter than the other ones, and they do fit in my ear differently. They feel like they sit out a little further from my ear. Now, some of that might be my ears have reformed to the older versions, and it's going to take a while to reform to these, but they stay in my ears wonderfully. The case does charge. I've got my MagSafe mount in my car.
Right.
And they use the MagSafe where I can just plop it on there and charge them up. But yeah, no, I'm really liking the Gen 3s, and it is taking me a while to get used to them, but they are a great product. They are the child of the Gen 2 and the AirPods Pro, and I'm really enjoying them so far. So
very good. Yeah, I have yet to try them. I have the Pros, and so I probably won't for a while.
Yeah, I heard a podcast discussing that, people that like the Pros and the noise canceling, they've got those. If they didn't like the Pros, they probably had gotten rid of those, but I only wear one 99.9% of the time that I'm wearing AirPods, I only have one in. So noise canceling makes no sense for me on these, but they are a cool little product.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes. But Apple is in trouble this week as Microsoft passed Apple to become the world's most valuable company.
Yeah, I can imagine that all the Apple executives are just rolling, tossing and turning in their beds of $1,000 bills, and at night they're like, "Oh, I'm just so worried that there's a few more zeros on Microsoft's account than ours." So, I don't think that anybody cares.
I'm currently looking, and Apple's market cap is 2.476 trillion.
Sheesh.
And Microsoft is at 2.49 trillion. So they're hurting. So hopefully Apple can survive this. But they did have, I didn't even link to it this time, but everybody had their quarterly results. So Apple stock goes down a little bit after the quarterly results, even though they made tons of money and everything. And really, that's why we don't talk about it too much. The stock price stuff is so arbitrary, and I'm concerned about the tech, even though I do own some Apple stock. I will disclaim that it is not much, but I like to see the price go up, but this is nothing.
Well, I will say I own both Microsoft and Apple stock.
Yes,
and please do not take stock buying advice from me. If I had to pick one of the two, Microsoft is the one that is the steady climber over time. But as a wise man, Steve Jobs, once said, we need to let go of the idea for Apple to win, Microsoft has to lose. You can buy stock in both and gain interest and value on both. So that's what I do.
The market is big enough that they will both survive. And more Apple news, because that's what happens with tech news. The Apple TV Plus app is coming to more devices, including the Xfinity range of devices. So if you have Xfinity/Comcast cable, they have a bunch of apps like YouTube and Hulu and everything built into their devices. Well, the Apple TV Plus app is coming there, so you can watch Apple TV Plus content on more and more video platforms.
Well, that's kind of neat. Just like I got the Roku player a few months ago, I can watch the Apple TV Plus content there. I don't have to spend $150 on an Apple TV, and so that's kind of a nice deal.
Yes, it is. And I haven't seen in the... I think we're about due for the Patch Tuesday. Well, I guess there's another week or so for Microsoft where we always talk about how many vulnerabilities were fixed. But I did want to give fair time to Chrome, which released an emergency update this week to fix 7 vulnerabilities, including 2 that were in the wild. And so Chrome isn't perfect either. None of these big softwares are, because there's a lot of people trying to crack them. But I did see that and figured I would reveal that about Chrome as well. So a good reminder to always keep your software updated.
These days, there's very little risk in keeping your software updated. It used to be, it's like, well, it might crash my computer, or the program that I use all the time may not work. But these days, I mean, as long as you have a good backup, because I want to remind you, our show is brought to you by One Backup is None Backup. So if you have your content backed up properly, then go ahead and update away. You can always roll back to the previous version.
And something else you should always keep updated is Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, thank you, Nate. I thought we would slide in with just a quick and dirty one today, because we've got more content and more products to talk about here later. You know, you've been using FaceTime sometimes on your phone. I know we're kind of in a Zoom-obsessed world these days, but if you're an iPhone user or an iPad user, you typically would use FaceTime if you want to do video conferencing between just you and your friends or your family or whatever. But sometimes you might notice that, like, the person, like, look at me, that my eyes are up here. Where are you looking? Why are you drifting off into the side here? Well, the cameras on these devices, if you're holding something in landscape mode, is off to the right or to the left. If it's in portrait mode, it looks like you're looking at the belly button of the person, because the camera's up high. So it's like the eyes are up here. What are you doing? So on any device that has a Face ID enabled sensor in it, there's a setting I want to alert you about. Now, this includes basically any iPhone that does not have a home button, one that has the swipey swipe with no surface buttons, and it also would include some iPad Pros which do not have the home button, which also have Face ID. But there are, for example, the newest iPad Mini does not have a Face ID sensor in it, nor does the iPad Air. It's only the Pro model. So your mileage may vary depending on what you've got, but there's this great feature I want to tell you all about, and it's called eye contact. Yes, as they teach you in school, or maybe your parents, when you talk to people, you want to have good eye contact to assert your authority, I suppose. So you go in on your iPhone, for example, into settings, and you scroll kind of way down into FaceTime. It's near the messages in the Safari settings in the settings app, and you click FaceTime and you keep going down some more, and you'll notice there's an option for eye contact. If that is enabled, some magic happens. Apple will use its LiDAR technology to track your face, and it will roll your eyes into the direction of the viewer. And so you may be looking at the center of the screen, which appears to your friend that you're looking off axis. It will move your gaze on axis. Is that just weird and kind of the word of the day, creepy? Yeah. But no, it's helpful because it is, I know, like even on Zoom calls and everything, like right now, my FaceTime camera is over here and I'm looking over at my big side screen. So it looks like I'm staring off into space to you. Where does it look where I'm looking now? Where does it look?
It looks like you're looking down to my hand or something, down to like the lower right. So it's hard to get that. So having this nice little feature on your phone and FaceTime just to switch it a little bit to line you up is nice.
Yeah, so give it a try and see what you think.
Yes. Well, let's move on to our takes. I don't know how much we've really talked about Roblox on the podcast over the years, but my daughter has watched many a YouTube video, so we actually do play some of it, and she wanted to play this morning, and I had remembered that I heard a few days ago that they were having a major outage. I think they were down for about 72 hours. Now, I did check. It looks like they are back up, but Roblox is this huge metaverse.
I see what you did there.
Yes, of where you can build games within Roblox. It's really a weird world.
I kind of want to describe it like this, and I'm going to make a lot of people mad. It's kind of like the ghetto version of Minecraft.
Yes,
I got to be honest, like the Fisher Price version of Minecraft. There's the Lego, which is Minecraft, and Fisher Price, which is like Roblox. That's how I'm going to describe it.
Yeah. So, but there are, I mean, thousands and thousands of games that people buy, and there's a whole ecosystem where you can buy your Robux in Roblox, and people make money off of it.
What?
And it is a crazy world. That the game my daughter likes to play is called Adopt Me, and you like find these eggs, and then you do different challenges, and there's this whole city and everything. I mean, it is weird. If you have kids, you're probably aware of it, and you know how weird it is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a million different games in there. But yeah, they had a major outage, and I haven't seen any updates yet of what caused it. When I looked this morning, it said, we have found the problem and are working to resolve it. But that was about all the information they've given. So yeah, Roblox, I mean, that's big. I mean, they have millions of players, and to be down for 3 days, that's pretty wild.
That is a big deal. Yeah, who knows what it costs these companies when their servers go offline like that.
Yeah.
Lots.
And not to be confused with Roblox, Redbox, I saw that they went public this week on the stock exchange, which I didn't know they were really a thing anymore, just with the prevalence of streaming services. But I did see they do have some streaming services, but they still have their kiosks as well.
Nate, let me tell you this. There are still people who have AOL email addresses.
Yes,
okay?
Well, that's true.
So there are people who still rent DVDs and Blu-rays from Redbox, and I'm thinking maybe our good friend of the show, Tyler, might still partake in the Redbox occasionally when he gets a free code or something like that. But you can also rent video games, which is cool. Sometimes I have exclusives that aren't available. So, I mean, there is a market there, but not me, man. I'm full streaming. That's all I want to see. Just stream it to me.
Well, and for me, I am someone that rarely watches movies as it is or plays those type of video games. So it's definitely not in my wheelhouse, but apparently it is for a lot of people because they went public. And
Well, good for them.
So go buy yourself some Redbox stock.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Yes, and we've been talking about all this new Apple tech. Well, this past week or so, the iPod turned 20.
Oh, I don't want to hear that, Nate.
Years.
No, I don't want to hear that because I have an original iPod.
I do too. I'm staring at it now, and I remember the day that I got it in the mail. Now, famously, it was the 1,000 songs in your pocket.
Yeah.
And to think where we've come in those 20 years with technology, where now you basically have every song in your pocket if you're subscribed to one of the many music services that I am.
Yeah, and what's great about today is that back then I didn't even know of 1,000 songs. It's like, well, I could probably come up with 1,000. Now it doesn't matter. I can just listen to anything and everything I want with those streaming services. So it is quite nice.
Yeah. So there was the article that I linked to in the show notes from panic.com. They have an original prototype of the iPod, and it is not what we know of as an iPod at all. There's a little kind of, looks like they cut a piece of cheese and for the little jog wheel, and then there's like a little 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch screen, and then up buttons, down button, left, right buttons. So pretty interesting to see kind of where the prototypes were on iPods, and then that original, the one that came out.
Well, I think that was probably more of them just having a surface to put the controls on.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were planning on that design.
No, that's probably not the case, but it changed the music industry for sure. So 20 years, that is wild to think. What was it, a 5 gig hard drive in the original one?
Yep, 5, and then they upgraded to a 20. But think of how many things that changed, not only for the music. It kickstarted Apple to be the leader of digital music, which allowed them to have the capital to create the iPhone, which has literally changed the world. So the iPod has a lot of impact on this planet.
Yes. Well, our bonus odd take of the week this week is one of our quirky little websites. It's called River Runner, and what you do, it pulls up a map of the United States is what it defaulted to for me. You drop a drop of water anywhere on the map, and it will show you how it flows through which rivers and tributaries all the way to the ocean, and then it'll just kind of do a Google Maps fly through to see, so you can see. I happened to drop it in Malala, Oregon, and it showed me the different creeks that it would go down, and then when it would get to the river and how it would get out to the ocean. But a fun little sciencey type site.
This is flippin' cool. I did not check this out before, and of course I made the mistake of dropping a drop of water in Tryon, Nebraska. So this is going to be a while to get to the ocean.
Yeah, so
it does look like I can speed it up, though.
Yes, that is good. So they're using, and they're actually not using Google Maps. They're using OpenStreetMap, which is much cheaper for them to use instead of Google Maps. But just one of those websites where you're like, wow, I didn't know I needed to know that.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cool.
Yes, and what else you need to know is our picks of the week.
Well, I think you might remember a few moments ago when I was lamenting about this caged up thing I wanted to share, that I love tablets. Yes. I know I rarely talk about tablets, but I just want to turn around here. I've got, let's see, there's an original iPad. I think there's an iPad 2, original iPad with cellular. I've got a couple, I think an old mini, and then there's some Kindles over there. And we could be here all day if I were to describe
a pile of tablets
on my back shelf. But I decided to add to that pile. My older iPad was, well, there are a couple. I have to justify this, Nate.
Yes,
because my wife might be listening.
Yes.
I had an iPad Mini 2, and I can't remember exactly what year I got it, but it's got to be around 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And that thing is having some issues. But I also had a full-sized iPad. It was an iPad Air 3, I think, or something like that. It was kind of like the Pro features that they put into the plain bodied one. And I used it for a while, but it seemed to be having some troubles, and so I got rid of it. But I saved up my pennies, and I decided to get the new iPad Mini. Yes, the goodness that is the Mini. Now, it's about the size of a Kindle, like a Kindle book reader tablet, and it's every bit as thin as a Kindle tablet, but the screen, it is color, high resolution, beautiful. The battery lasts like 10 hours. It's got one of the latest processors in it. If you are looking for an iPad and you think, iPads are too clunky. When I hold them, my wrists hurt, or I'm in bed and they fall in my face. Well, maybe you just need to change the size of your iPad and get the Mini. It's compatible with the Apple Pencil 2, which magnetically adheres to the side. Man, I've only had it a few days, but it gets the job done. I'm in a theatrical production later this year. I look at my script on it. Of course, I can play a bevy of video games. I mentioned Kindle.
Yes.
I'm reading books again because they look so darn beautiful. And guess what? They do better than the Kindle. They do graphic novels and comic books brilliantly. Anyway, I couldn't be happier. If you're looking for a tablet, go for the iPad Mini.
Okay. Yeah, no, those things are awesome. I can't wait to get yours in my hand. I did touch one briefly at the Apple Store the other week, but yeah, they have really knocked it out of the park with the new Mini. That is a powerful little... Now, does that have the M1 processor in it, or is it the A15?
I think it's the 14 or the 15, which is what the M1 is based on. So in the Macs, they call them the M1s. In iOS devices, they call them the A whatever.
Yes.
And I think it's the A14 or something
well,
like that.
the new iPad Pros have the M1s and then the A, whatever.
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
a
right.
great tablet.
They went back and forth. They stole, they stole the M1 out of the Pro and put it in the MacBook. But yeah, it's confusing. They're all basically the same generation of chip. Some are just more capable than others. And before you get to your pick, a real-time follow-up here on my river runner. I am at the Missouri River, and I'm almost to the Mississippi, and then I'm going to make my way to the Gulf of Mexico. So very
nice. Yes. Well, my pick of the week this week is the EZlifego double-sided tape, heavy-duty, 16.5 foot, 5 meter, multi-purpose wall tape, adhesive strips, removable mounting tape, reusable, strong, sticky, transparent tape, gel poster, carpet tape for paste items, household.
So there were a lot of words there.
Yes.
So one word that kept sticking out was tape. Is this some type of adhesive tape that you're describing to us?
Yes. So this is more of our non-electronic tech pick this week, and something I found on the Cool Tools blog that I reference often. And this is very similar to like the 3M removable sticky stuff that you'll get with some, if you get some wall hooks or stuff like that.
It looks like foam with adhesive on each side. Yeah,
so this is actually clear, but it's the same idea, but it just comes in a 16.5 foot roll.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so you get a bunch of it, and so if you need to put up, it's just a lot better to put stuff up than instead of putting nails in the wall or, stuff that you're going to want to remove, because you can just pull it and it kind of stretches and then pops off, but it does hold things securely.
Interesting.
Yes, so
well, here's a question. I'm doing a flooring project in my house. Could I put the molding around the baseboard up with this instead of using a nail gun?
That would be a great question. You should post that somewhere with somebody that knows a little bit more about molding than me. Yeah, are you going to be switching your molding out often?
Well, you never know.
Yeah. Maybe, seasonal, you could have different colors for each season.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like maybe on the back wall, I'm going to tuck some speaker cable wire beneath the molding so that I can have some remote speakers on either side of the room. Well, maybe I just want to pull that baseboard off and change the wires out or something like that. Who knows?
Yes, it might work. So, and the advantage of this, as you might guess, over like buying the 3M stuff, is the price. I don't know if you looked at it yet, or if you'd like to take a guess. No. It's been a while. So 16.5 foot roll of this double-sided tape heavy duty.
No, I have not. 16. So they said the word tape once for about every foot.
Yes, they did. And I will let you know that it has 4.5 stars on 38,236 ratings. So I am not the first person to stumble across this product.
I want to say this stuff. I believe, this is just me thinking out loud, I believe $1 a foot is exorbitant. I think it's going to be less than $16 a foot. at 50 cents a foot, we're looking pretty good. So I'm going to go somewhere kind of in the middle, and I'm going to say like $8.99 is what I think this roll is.
Well, not quite that good of a deal. $14.99. So you were close with the original $1. Yeah. So
yeah, about 75 cents a foot.
And I am going to look on the camel just to see. It does look like price has dropped down here and there below that, closer to the $10 range. But yeah, if you've got stuff that like, if you got a new house or some new decorations you want to put up, or if you're attaching some stuff, pick up a roll of this to have around, and you will be happy. I am going to just look very quickly at the 3M removable double-sided tape to compare pricing, and the stuff that I mentioned, the EZlifego, is actually what shows up first. But yeah, so this is 5 yards, so that's 15 feet. So the foamy stuff is actually a little cheaper. So this is the clear stuff is the advantage here.
Yeah, so I would think that the clear stuff is a premium price.
Yes, yeah. So I'm not finding an exact comparison. But anyways, who cares? There'll be a link in the show notes. I do have a not pick from friend of the show, Dillon.
Okay.
And this is one that he had gotten quite a while ago, and he just reminded me this past week that I don't think we ever talked about it, and I did check in with him, and he returned it very quickly. It was not a good product, but it was something we had thought about for Todd with his iPod Shuffle issues. But this is the Mighty Vibe Spotify and Amazon Music Player Bluetooth and wired headphones, 1,000+ song storage, no phone needed, blue. So this is, it kind of looks like an iPod Shuffle, but you're supposed to be able to do Spotify and Amazon Music. It is $110. It's tiny, but he said, don't even bother. So hopefully somebody out there listening might have been considering this, and Dillon has tested it for you, and you don't need it.
Look, Dillon, next time you get a temptation to buy an abhorrent aberration such as this Mighty Vibe, please call me first, because in my little array of products, I've got all kinds of shuffles and iPods and all kinds of things. And I could have told you that there's nothing that's going to compare to these. I've tried them all. And I'm not tried all the third-party stuff, but I've tried all the Apple stuff. And you cannot improve on perfection, my friend. You cannot.
Yes. So, and the claim here is that you can Mighty plays your Spotify and Amazon Music without a phone screen or internet connection.
What are they, magic? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I wanted to bring that up and make sure to steer clear of the Mighty Vibe music player.
As my grandmammy used to say, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes. Well, with that, and your grandmammy, did you say?
I did.
Wow, your grandmammy. We will wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Share it with a friend. Comment. Get involved on the socials. We do get some posts here and there. People post their questions, and we or other Notnerdians, or sorry, what's our name? Not Nerdigonians.
I have forgotten, Nate. We're gonna have to look it up.
Yes, I can't believe I've. Yes, that was how long ago was that? The Tech Betterers.
The Tech Betters. You threw us off. You took us down a path that was unwinnable.
I took us down an old path. So all those Tech Betterers, the hive mind of being able to get out there and tech better. Yes. And one backup is none backup. And Dave, no, that's not going to work.
I can't believe we forgot. Forgot the name. How embarrassing.